Don't mind us, we're just transitioning. Bill was supposed to, let me do this first. While I'm doing this, go ahead and get up and shake hands with somebody. Can't get this out of my pocket. Say hi. Greet somebody. Not a very friendly bunch, are we? Am I on? I can't tell. Sounds like it, yes. This is what Bill was looking for earlier. It was underneath the hymnal, so he's going to read about, I guess, Indiana Vance, George Washington, first president, father of our country. He did a good job. He had lived it. Do you know when you get our age? You have to. It's not fun. Tell that to my body. If you look at your bulletin, today's sermon, our talk, is on investments for 2019. Yeah. Everything that I'm seeing out there, one of the best prospects for making money is buying into the cannabis market. $3.19 you can buy a share. Now, it's medical marijuana. It's not regular marijuana. It's medical marijuana, so it's okay. So you won't find any of my money there. Lori and I started dating back in the 80s. We got married in 1985. In 1982, I got a job. What year did you get hired by the phone company? 83, 84? What? 84. So we got married in 85. From the time we started dating to the time we got married, February 26th? No, 16th. 16th. We'd amassed almost $20,000 between the two of us. We saved that much money. We didn't do much, but we saved money. And so during that time, we realized that in 2005, we got married. 19. Okay. Start over. In 1985, somebody got married. I think it was us. And we bought a van, got a house, and then we had a baby all in 1 year. Now, we got married in February and had the baby in December, okay? I want to make clarification here. But someone, I don't know if it's her family or other firemen or something, but instilled in our heads that we should save for retirement. So I think I was 31 at the time, and she was not 31. And we started saving money, and probably by 1990 or so, we decided that we would need just a certain dollar amount of money for us to be able to retire. And so the joke used to be with Ben and Joanna, I'm going to work for 3 more years, I'm going to retire. Well, that ended up being 7 years, actually. But we finally hit the goal we wanted. And so she's not retired yet, but I am. Anyway, for instance, one of the investments I made was I bought $10,000 of preferred GM stock in 1990, what year was it, 93, 94? It was something around 93, 94. I bought $10,000 worth of GM preferred stock. And we cashed something else in, and that's why we had the money. I don't remember where the money came from, but that's what we did. Well, in 2009, that GM stock was worth this much money. GM stock, that was one of the best blue chip stocks you could buy. It split, it done all these things over the course of the years. Now, the thing about the preferred stock was it paid 10% dividend. So that $10,000 I invested in 2009 became $0. But in the 13 or 14 years that I had it, no, it was almost 16 years, it made $28,000. So I made $18,000, but I lost the 10 that I invested. So as I think back on that, I was angry. GM stock, but yet I still came out ahead. It took me a long time to realize that I didn't see those gains because they got reinvested in other things, and thank goodness it wasn't GM stock. But I looked into in 1982, if I'd invested in Sherwin-Williams, their stock, for instance, it would have been worth a lot. How much? Let's just do this. If you'd have bought Apple in 1982, it would be worth $1,000 of Apple would be worth $430,000 today. If you'd bought into Bemis, it'd be worth $2 million today. M&T Bank, $3.5 million today. Hasbro, G.I. Joe, Kung Fu Grip, $2.4 million, $1,000.82. Stryker, they make medical supplies, $2.3 million. Valspar, where you at, Perry? It would have been 1.5. Sherwin-Williams, $1.075 million. Equifax, Berkshire Hathaway, $1.075 million. And I started looking at different things. So if I'd put $1,000 away just in something that would give me a return back then, let's see, in 82, we got bond money for we paid 7% interest. So I think bonds are paying like 10%. Well, at 10%, $1,000 would have yielded me $288,000. So as you see, there's money to be made out there. I didn't invest in any of those companies, so that's the sad part. As a matter of fact, in 1987, we lost a third of what Lori and I had put together, 1987. It's like, I was so mad. I had my money in Mass Mutual. They can sue me if they want to, but that's where I had my money. We lost a third of what we had. So I thought, I'm not giving them any more money. As a matter of fact, I cashed out and went somewhere else. That was the dumbest thing I could have done. I just let it at least sit to recoup. So at that point in time, I took a more active role, I thought. And once again, I wasn't going to church yet. But we were sticking away our money away in 401ks and pension programs. So I once heard that if you save 10% of what you make, you'll be rich someday. I thought, man, what if we saved 20%? Then we'd be super rich. Doesn't work that way. God has a plan for you. No matter what you try to do, no matter what your strategy is, what's everything we got going to do anyway? It's going to burn. But that didn't dissuade me any. I just kept at it. So when I think there was a dip in 2007, 2008 into there, I diversified. I was in stocks and bonds and mutuals. I didn't lose too much. How many people paid attention to what happened last year, 2018, as far as stock market and stuff went? Beginning of the year, it's doing pretty good. By December, all the gains that we had made had been pretty much lost. So it was a net of zero. What was the reason for that? What was the reason? Trade agreements. China. I don't know how that would work. We owe them the national debt. It shouldn't be affected at all. But the whole thing about the stock market, the Dow Jones, is based on perception and feelings. It's perceptions and feelings. When they had the tech boom, Apple, all these different companies are making money. Tell me, how can stock in Facebook be worth anything? What do they produce? What do they make? Are they really a service even? Amazon. What's Amazon do? They're the middleman. What's that guy's name? Bezos? He's the richest man on the planet. What's he do? Okay, then he and his ex will be the two richest people. What I'm saying is everything is based on perception. It's what we see and what we feel. How can we, as Seventh-day Christians, really be invested in anything? I don't know. Over the course of the years, I'm going to show you this. We keep valuables in a shoebox. Commemorative coins from 911. Lincoln Memorial coins. Don't have many of those. We got some sets where they give you these nice looking boxes. That's a real silver dollar. I don't know what it's worth. It varies. I think it's $16 today. This is another silver dollar. So I got some silver. I got some gold. But what's going to do? It's going to burn. It's going to melt down. Now, I'm going to leave this here. We talk about melting down. I got on the line a while back. I thought, well, let's see what I can do this week. We don't wear jewelry anymore. It's a good thing because I melted it all down. I probably got about a third of an ounce of gold. That's worth probably $700, $800 there. It's going to burn down. This is silver. I used to have a lot more silver. And this is actually, you can barely see it. These are flakes of gold that we panned for in Alaska. These are all worth things. Does everybody know what these are? Quarter rolls. You know how many quarters we got at our house? We don't either. Got a bunch. Here's one of those Sacagawea dollars. It might be worth $1.25 with the gold that they put on her. And then there's a diamond in here, there's a ruby, there's something light blue. Is it turquoise? I don't know what it is. Probably aquamarine. I never bought any emeralds. But anyway, these are different things that we've had over the course of years, and basically, they're investments. Nationwide, this is where I had my 457B, so we could save on the fire department. And this is where I had my money. And one neat things in here, they have, where's all your money at? Well, someone ever got a hold of this, it's got our numbers in there and everything else. It doesn't have passwords, but it's got this account, this account. Got a little book, Smart Money, annuities, different things like that. Maximize your retirement. I got this one. I was actually going to look at it, but I didn't worry about it. I didn't care. Different things. I mean, I get stuff in the mail. Lori and I, we want to try a new restaurant. We wait till we get an invitation from some investor, and we go there. So I'd never been to Eddie Moreau's before. Merlot, how you say it. We ate there a couple weeks ago. It was a good meal. Then we got up and left. But we listened to the presentation. This guy had probably 50 people there. He pays between $30 and $50 a plate. Where does he get that money from? From me, when I make an investment with him. Or you. If anyone wants to go to have a nice meal, we're going to Fuga de Chow on Tuesday night. I'm going to have the veggie plate, and I don't know what else I can have. The Dow Jones hit 1,000, I think it was November 14th, 1972. I thought, that's pretty good because I just joined the Army. So all my money that I was buying my United States savings bond with was doing good. That's when it hit 1,000, 1972, 40-some years ago. The next mark, I think, would be 2,000. And it hit 2,000 at some point in time. It doesn't matter. It hit 25,000 this past year. So what's all that mean? Well, you have to understand how the Dow Jones Industrial Averages works. How many people in here have a pension program? How many people have 401ks? How many people are individually invested in mutual funds, bonds, securities, oranges? Anybody invested in oranges? Oranges is a good investment. Those are commodities. Pork bellies. Anybody got any pork bellies? I'm trying to keep mine off. People, we invest in all kinds of things. Indiana's now working on laws where you can gamble on things. Sports, gamble on sports. Let's see. Overs and unders, combined scores, how many times the coach throws something away. You can make a bet in Indiana. We can now anyway, but it's going to be legal pretty soon, probably, on just about anything. How many people have ever played the lottery? Don't raise your hand. There's so Publishers Clearinghouse. I heard this commercial a while back. Did you really get a job? Yeah. What about our plan? What do you mean, what about our plan? Well, we were going to get rich, win the lottery, and go out to California. Really? That was a plan? So getting back to my plan. My plan was to retire about 56 or 57 years of age. Well, there went a little kind of a, how do I say it? A little glitch. Our daughter decided to get married and move to California. I said, really? Well, that's the nice weather on the planet. San Diego has perfect weather. Yeah, they also got this fault line too. Well, Doug Batchelor's out there, so it must be okay. Okay, can't argue. Well, now all of a sudden, I had to figure out how to be able to afford to live on the money that we'd put away in Southern California. I might as well plan to retire on the moon. But yet, we sometimes forget God's plans. We can make plans, but God has a plan for us. Now, Hellman read Psalms 118. I think it was verse 105. Is that correct? Let me see if that's it. I think it is. 119, excuse me. The word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. You know that Psalms 119 is the longest chapter in the Bible? You know what the shortest chapter in the Bible is? 117. You know what the middle of the Bible is? Psalms 118, verse 8. It says, "It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man." Let me read Psalms 117. "Oh, praise the Lord, all you Gentiles. Laud him, all you peoples. For his merciful kindness is great toward us, and the truth of the Lord endures forever." Praise the Lord. My goodness gracious, that's the Bible. That's the Bible. Put your trust in God. And this is what he's going to do for you. The Lord has a sense of humor. Shortest chapter, longest chapter, middle of the Bible, right between the two of them. Who would have thought? You know how they figured this out? What a concordance. They actually had to put all the stuff in the computer, or someone counted a lot of words. That's how you find these things out. Let me read a few more verses here for you. I've lost my thing. Here it is. Let's go to the book of Matthew. I'll go to Matthew 25. Matthew 25, we'll be reading verse starting 14. The parable of the talents. For the kingdom is heaven, like a man traveling to a far country, who called his own servants and delivered his goods to them. And to one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, and to each according to his own ability, and immediately he went on his journey. Then he who had received the 5 talents went and traded with them, and made another 5 talents. And likewise he who had received 2 gained 2 more. But he who had received 1 went out and dug and put it in the ground, and hid his Lord's money. Now after a long time, the Lord of those servants came and settled accounts with them. So he who had received the 5 talents came and brought 5 other talents, saying, Lord, you delivered to me 5 talents. Look, I have gained 5 more talents beside them. Lord said, well done, good and faithful servant. You were faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things. Enter into the joy of your Lord. He also, who had received 2 talents, came and said, Lord, you delivered to me 2 talents. Look, I have gained 2 more talents besides them. And his Lord said to them, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things. Enter into the joy of your Lord. Now, then he who had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you have not sown, and gathering where you have not scattered seed. And I was afraid and went out and hid your talent in the ground. Look, there you have what is yours. But the Lord answered and said to him, you wicked and lazy servant, you knew that I reap where I have not sown, and gather where I have not scattered seed. Therefore you ought to have deposited my money with the bankers, and at my coming I would have received back my own with interest. My own with interest. In the 80s, we got bond money to build a house. The prevailing rates, I think, were like 17% for loans on houses. We got bond money. We thought, wow, we're doing great. We got 11.125%. We borrowed $40-some thousand and got our first house. You know, when interest rates got lower and lower, we probably refinanced that house 3 or 4 times. I think it got down to 4, and we thought, we're doing really, really well. Acts 5. Let's go to the book of Acts. Acts chapter 5. Now a certain man named Ananias with Sapphira his wife sold a possession. And he kept back part of the proceeds. Also, his wife became aware of it and bought a certain part and laid it at the apostles' feet. But Peter said, Ananias, why has Satan filled your heart to lie to the Holy Spirit and keep back part of the piece of land for yourself? Now, we know the story. He and his wife didn't fare so well after this. But he sold and gave to the church. Where was his sin at? Where was his sin? He sold something and gave to the church. Did you hear me when I said he held back some? He'd made a promise and he didn't keep that promise. I'm going to go to Genesis now. Genesis 30. Genesis 30. Genesis 30, and I think it's 25, thereabouts, through 40. Genesis 30. Okay. Jacob's agreed with Laban. And it came past when Rachel had borne Joseph that Jacob said to Laban, send me away that I may go to my own place in my own country. Give me my wives and my children for whom I have served you, and let me go, for you know my service which I have done for you. And Laban said to him, please stay, if I have found favor in your eyes, for I have learned by experience that the Lord has blessed me for your sake. Then he said, name me your wages, and I will give it. And Jacob said to him, you know how I have served you, and how your livestock has been with me. For what you had before I came was little, and now has increased to a great amount. The Lord has blessed you since my coming. And now, when shall I also provide for my own house? So he said, what shall I give you? And Jacob said, you shall not give me anything. If you do this thing for me, I will again feed and keep your flocks. Let me pass through all your flocks today. removing from there all the speckled and spotted sheep, and all the brown ones among the lambs, and the spotted and speckled among the goats, and these shall be my wages. So my righteousness will answer for me in time to come, and the subject of my wages comes before you. Everyone that is not speckled and spotted among the goats, and the brown among the lambs, will be considered stolen if it's with me. And Laban said, oh, that it were according to your word. Now Laban thought he had a deal here, right? Because his sheep were white. And he's thinking to himself, speckled sheep? No, there's no speckled sheep. There's no brown sheep. They're all white. But he made this deal with him, and guess what? Speckled brown sheep everywhere. This is the first case that I can find where there's been a deviation of the natural source of things. And this is just one of these things like, well, you don't pay attention now. You just pay attention to the fact that he got this blessing. This is a tremendous blessing. But yet we don't see it as he did. He wanted to go and provide for his family. He wanted to go back to the country he came from. He wanted to go back and see Esau. He wanted to, he wanted to go back. And Laban already tricked him. Laban had tricked him so many times. That poor guy gave him, he didn't give him Rachel, he gave Leah. He got Leah first. That's not who I bargained for. Well, that's how it works around here. You get the firstborn. Oh, can you imagine how upset Jacob was? He'd probably livid. Let's go to Genesis chapter 41 now. I'll start at the very verse first. And it came to pass, the end of the first 2 full years, that Pharaoh had a dream, and behold, he stood by a river. Okay, now we're going to skip on a little bit further. 41, and it said, let's go to 41:14 now. Then the Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon. He shaved, changed his clothing, came to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is no one who can interpret it. But I have heard it said that you can understand it, a dream, and interpret it. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, it's not me. God will give Pharaoh the answer. So what was that dream? About cows. So we've gone from sheep to cows now. Commodities. Okay. Well, I'm sticking on with the cows right now, okay? So you had how many cows? 7 cows. What kind of cows were they? They were fat cows. And then 7 more cows came out, but they were skinny and scrawny looking. And they ate the first cows, but didn't look like they'd eaten anything. They still looked scrawny and terrible, ugly. As a matter of fact, it says in here, the ugliest cows that they'd ever seen. Pharaoh, they were ugly. But Joseph was able to interpret that dream and said, Pharaoh, that means you're going to have 7 years of plenty and 7 years of very, very lean famine. So what did Joseph tell Pharaoh to do? What did he tell him? You can read a little bit further. You want to, or I can read it. Save how much? "34, let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over land to collect 1/5 of the produce of the land of Egypt in the 7 plentiful years." 20%. He's collecting 20%. Now, does anyone know what a seventh, what the percentage for a seventh? It's 14.28 something, but it's 14. So he's saving, having them save more than they're collecting. Now, assuming they're going to eat this much, they save 20% for 7 years. That's 140%. They saved up a year and 40%. So it'll be a year and what? 3 months? 4 months? Anyway, that's how much they saved up. That much extra. And then they started doling it out as they needed to. Why did they come up with save 20%? Where did this come from? It makes no sense to me. I can't figure out why I saved 20%. If you save a seventh, that will take care of each year down the road. I don't know. I'm not a mathematician. I'm not an actuary. But it's because God told him to say that. So, we're going back to Dennis and Lori now. 10% you'll be rich. Joseph saved 20%. I'm going to try to do that. And lo and behold, I was able to do that some of the time, but not all the time. It's not about my investments. It's not about what my plan is. It's about God's plan. No matter what silly, idiotic, nonsensical thing we look at, if you want to have the plan where you're going to buy lottery tickets till you hit the lottery, that's not a good plan. As a matter of fact, that's not a plan at all. If you want to save and put money away for retirement, that's good, but there's not many people that really retire these days. How many people you see at Walmart that should be retired? You see several. Me, I'm looking for a job with the VA. I want another retirement. But anyway, there's plans. You have to have a plan. Now, this is the best plan I can come up with. And seriously, if you want any of these CDs or any of these pamphlets or anything like that, you can have them. I'll give them to you. You can buy annuities. You can buy some more stocks. But I think the best plan goes back to Psalms 118:8. Put your trust in the Lord and not in man. So if you want to have a good plan, that's what you need to invest in. One of these, and I only need one of these because I got a bad knee. And get down on your knees and pray that God gives you the direction where you should go and what you should do. Don't put your faith in some financial advisor. Don't put your faith in yourself. And don't put your faith in Social Security, because it might not be here in a few years. Pray that God will lead you in the right direction, that He'll give you the faith and the strength to follow Him and no one else. We have programs we're getting ready to do. The 2020 General Conference being here, we're going to have evangelism. Come visit the Vacation Bible School. See the wild animals. I bet you'll see more wild animals at Vacation Bible School than the animals they bring, but see the wild animals. We have other programs too we're going to do. I think, Aaron, you're going to do your marriage program this year? He's going to have a marriage program. Kevin, you doing the backpacks? I think we're going to do backpacks, and there's one other. What was the other one? Wild animals, backpacks, marriage. Just the three? Okay. Get involved. Stay involved. Call each other up. Encourage one another. You can't do it by yourself. And it's nice to pray with other people. You don't always have to pray by yourself. Nonetheless, trust in God. Don't trust in Dennis, E Pluribus Unum, or Mass Mutual.